Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. If you ever felt rather useless as a Paladin Tank, just sitting there and taking the hits, or just felt like a walking meat sack with just HP, then you're in the right place. This video will show you how to pack a punch and avenge yourself upon those mobs. Be warned, you shall need two different loadouts, AoE and single target, so it is best if you actually use two loadouts instead of swapping things around. So to begin with, your race. What should you choose? Well, the best is obviously the metallic dragonborn. Coming up second is the ordinary dragonborn. And third would be the tiefling. If you somehow either can't use or don't like any of the aforementioned, then any race will do. Just pick one you like the look of. Okay, so now ability scores. You want to have dexterity and intelligence maxed out. However, you can swap out intelligence for charisma, since our at-will powers are not magical, unlike the rest, and thus don't benefit from it. The cooldown reduction from charisma will help also for more DPS. Right, so on to feet. Luckily they remain the same for both loadouts. You should take up and the rest down. However, you can use Shield of the Gods instead of Sheltering Light if you're feeling somewhat selfish. It can help a lot if you know you're going to take a big hit. The Sheltering Light is just my preference. Also, if you just want to look cool, you can use Intimidating Presence. It will give you angel wings just like this. But I would recommend sticking with Unyielding Champion, especially for your single target loadout, since it can help you a lot when you're against a boss or such mob that will hurt you a lot more. But to sustain DPS you won't need either of them. It's just you may have the use of Unyielding Champion if you are in a bit of a pickle and need more HP and some heal. Since we're on this page, let's talk about powers you should be using. Here is where you ideally want two separate loadouts. For AoE damage, run Oath Strike and Radiant Slam as your at-wills. Encounters are Burning Light, Bane, and Relentless Avenger. For your dailies, you want to run Radiant Charge and either Shield of Faith or Divine Protector, depending on which feat you chose here. Then for your class feature, on your AoE build, you want to run Aura of Vengeance and Composure. Now for your single target loadout, you will want to run Shielding Strike and Radiant Slam. And then for your encounter powers, you want to run Smite, Bane, and Relentless Avenger. And then for your class features, you will want to run Divine Challenger and Composure. And for your dailies, you will want to run Divine Judgment, and then again either Shield of Faith or Divine Protector, depending on which feat you chose here. However, only use Bane when you have the free cast proc from this second feat here, Baneful Strikes. Now for companions and companion equipment. Of course you want 3 rank 15 bondings for max efficiency. Then the pearl ring, the choke chain, and the gold leaf grimoire of the companion. These should be enough to give you capped offense stats with some jiggle room. Then for passive companions you want to slot the tamed velociraptor, the minstrel, the ion stone of allure, and the ion stone of might. And finally, the owlbear cub. And for your companion enhancement, you want to equip Potent Precision for the extra 5% crit severity. As for the summoned companion, I recommend the Bullet Pup, but any augment companion will do just fine, as long as you have the enhancement bonus of power. If you have either the Stalwart Lion or Xuna companions, they can be highly effective as summoned companions, especially when doing solo content, since you can get combat advantage with them. However, if you do run an active companion, I recommend using the plated belt of the companion instead of the choke chain for that extra defense. Okay, so now on to gear. This is where you will want two separate loadouts. To begin with, the gear you want to have on both loadouts is the Hag's Rags, the Terrored Grips, Gurtuk's Booties, Nickel-plated ring, Ebonized raid ring, Amity-stained raid shirt, and the pants of the keeper, or any pants with a high item level. Use the broken cap of the Omnipotent for your helm or the Protege's feather helm if you are in Undermountain content. For your weapons, you ideally want the Lionheart set. If you don't have either of those, you can use the Alabaster set for AoE and the Burnished set for single target. For artifacts, you want to have 3 Storyteller journals. The reason for this is you want to have the set of 3, where you do additional hit for weapon damage on a critical hit. Okay, so now for your AoE loadout, you want to have the Lost Mouth set, the neck and the waist and the artifact. And for your single target, you will want to have the Demon Lord set. For your enchantments, you obviously want Radiance in all your offense slots for more power, and whatever you need in defense slots, using again Radiance for HP if you have the defense stats. Now for the weapon that you are using. The artifact modifications you want is power and crit severity on the offhand, and either increased Oath Strike or increased Shielding Strike on the main hand. The weapon enchantment that is best for AoE damage is the Lightning enchantment, and the best one for single target is the Vorpal. I currently have both of them, and I regularly switch them out whenever I switch loadout. For your armor enchantment, I would recommend the Bark Shield, as it will increase your survivability by a lot. Now for boons. Put everything you have in power, and then go on to fill Severe Criticism for the crit severity, and then Call of Power for the action points. Alternatively, you could use Quick Turnaround for the recharge speed. Then for your master boon, I recommend Bloodlust. However, you could use Focused Retaliation on your single target loadout whenever you encounter a boss. You could also use the Lingering Power boon. If you use potions a lot, it grants 3k power on a proc. For your guild boons, highly recommend the power and the HP. Unless you're lacking defense, then take defense. And I generally use healing potion bonus on my utility one. Finally, for mounts, I would usually run with Dominant Force for power. If you're in a hurry, I would use Fast Striding. And if you're getting hit too hard, use Stalwart for the extra HP. And for your insignias on your AoE loadout, I recommend 3 Gladiator's Guile. It does not stack above 3. And then if you run an active companion, use 2 Warlord insignia bonuses. If you're not using an active companion, then I would recommend using 2 of these. And then on your single target loadout, go with Barbarian's Revelry, Survivor's Blessing, and Oppressor's Reprieve. And then again, if you have an active companion, use the Warlord's Inspiration and Warlord's Encouragement. But if you don't have an active companion, then just use 2 Gladiator's Guile here instead. Okay, so now for your rotation on your AoE loadout. First, when you want to enter combat, you just Relentless Avenger to your closest target and start swinging Binding Oath. Immediately, I would just spam the Burning Light, and then I would just use my divinity initially for Bane, and you just keep spamming it. You will see every so often a notification pops up, Baneful Strikes, and you will see an outline around your Bane, and that is when you have a free cast of it. Make sure you use it up before 10 seconds has passed. And then when you have your daily, just line up your targets and cast it. Depending on what artifact you are using, you can also use it into your rotation. So essentially at the beginning of combat you would spam it down, Relentless Avenger, Burning Light, and then just the rest Bane. And when Burning Light comes off cooldown, you use it, and when Relentless Avenger comes off cooldown, you also just use it on the nearest target. And then for your single target loadout, I would initially use Relentless Avenger, then my artifact, and then spam Smite. I would spam Smite all the way until I have no divinity, then I would just attack the boss normally with Shielding Strike and block when necessary, using Relentless Avenger when I can, and also Bane whenever you get the free cast. And then I would wait for my artifact to cool down, and then I would spam Smite again with the artifact, just to get maximum damage. However, I do not recommend using this DPS build if you do not have a significant amount of power, and you cannot compensate for your other defense stats. You don't have to particularly worry about deflect or crit avoidance. It's not a huge thing. Just make sure you have your defense capped and you have at least 400k HP. The reason why I do not recommend running this when you have, let's say, under 100k power is because you shall lose threat. The only threat power I am currently using, if you're on AoE, the only threat power that I'm using is Oath Strike. The rest relies entirely on me doing damage. So if I do not have enough power to back up my damage, then I cannot make enough damage to actually draw the threat to myself. In the end of the day, your role is to protect your allies from basically getting hurt by attracting all the mobs to you instead of them. So if you do not have enough threat, I recommend using my other build. My build which concentrates on stacking HP and stamina. Okay, so those are my 2 DPS loadouts. If you want to load out for pure tanking or for healing, check the description below. Hope you have enjoyed and this can help you out a lot. Thanks for watching. I'm Aragon, and if you liked the video please leave it a like, and if you're new consider subscribing. Stay safe and see you around.